September is Suicide Prevention Awareness Month, but the need to talk about mental health and suicide prevention is really something that lasts year-round. Every year, thousands of families are impacted by suicide, a tragedy that is so often preventable. So joining us today is Tina Hoffman, who teaches a suicide prevention class through Franciscan Health. Tina, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So this is a difficult but really important conversation because it affects so many people, really in every community here in Indiana, around the country, and around the world. Why is it so critical to talk openly about it?
It is so hard, but let's talk about the fact that in 2023, 985 men died by suicide in the state of Indiana alone. We don't want to talk about it because they're afraid. The stigma is still so hard. If we talk about it, we have to do something about it. But we're also afraid that we're going to plant this seed. And it is not a problem-solving solution. Me asking you about suicide does not mean I am problem-solving for you. It means I see your pain and I want to have some hard conversation about it.
In your experience, have you found that men in particular mask the just mental health challenges?
Absolutely. I think it's really hard for men to be vulnerable. I think it's hard for men to share. I think it's hard to find safe spaces to share. We expect men to carry on burdens, working, families without that need to break down and share with someone. And so I always encourage to create safe spaces where they're comfortable. If it's at a sports ball court, if it is at the barber shop, if it is drinking coffee in the mornings at your favorite restaurant, and having that safe space where men can share men's problems. We know that women like to share together. Men need to be able to share together.
That's such a great point, because it's not as though men don't struggle with this. We all do. We're not alone, so we might as well talk about it, right?
We have to talk about it, and I think that's one of the things we've also lost the ability to talk about anything. We are all in our doors, and we have shut behind them. And so having that conversation to be brave, to be the first vulnerable person sharing at your coffee club in the morning or on your sports ball afterward, and talking about, hey, I've had a really hard day and I am stressed out. Just starting with something simple like that, most people will have that empathy for you.
What are some of the warning signs that someone is showing that they may be struggling or thinking about suicide, you think?
There's so many warning signs. A lot of times we feel withdrawal. We hear that they stop texting, they stop talking to people, their families. Maybe they're not showing up for work on time. Maybe they're not going to church. That withdrawal, because they're having such mental anguish. They're feeling that they don't have an avenue to help support or someone supporting them. And so they just continue to withdraw, because they're also, men in particular, feel a lot of shame that they're even thinking about suicide.
And so do you recommend, when you see those warning signs in someone you love, approaching them and just being blunt about it and asking them? What do you recommend that we do?
Absolutely. I think the ability to walk up and ask someone in some safely emotional way of, are you thinking about suicide? That does not mean you're problem solving. They're not likely going to say, you know what, that's a great idea. They're going to say, gosh, maybe you have seen what's happening to me. And a lot of times when we're teaching in some of our classes, we tell people, go to them. You wouldn't wait for someone that needs CPR to come to you, and we have to go to people that are in mental health crisis as well.
So take me through the next step. You ask that someone, and they answer you, then what? What happens next?
The first thing I say as someone who does this work is, thank you for trusting me. You're in a lot of pain, and I'm sorry. And then I go, how are you doing right now? I don't jump to, oh my gosh, do you have a means? Do you have a way? What brought you to this point today that you're thinking about suicide? I want to hear their viewpoint. I want to hear their story. I'm not trying to problem solve for them. I'm trying to show some empathy where maybe they don't have empathy. At the core, Dustin, suicide is impaired problem solving for a painful situation.
And so do you recommend then, at what point in the conversation do you bring up counseling or professional help to get that person healthy again or in a better way?
Absolutely. I ask them, who do they want to speak with? Have they talked to their family doctor about this? Do we need to go to the emergency room now because you're feeling so unsafe that you can't go home? Do you have a firearm at home where you may access it in time of crisis at 2 o'clock in the morning? And so, if nothing else, if I'm sitting with you, let's call 988 together so you can see what 988 will do. And the most amazing thing is that 988 has 4 call centers in the state of Indiana. So it's Hoosiers helping Hoosiers, which is what we are known for.
Oh, that's really interesting. I did not know there were so many call centers here specifically in Indiana.
Yes.
Wow. And you mentioned firearms.
Yes.
Is that a common
Yes.
way that men in particular?
It is the majority of the way that men die in the state of Indiana by suicide is firearm. We know that firearms are easily accessible in the homes. And so what I'm always recommending is a cable lock, a gun lock, a cable or a box that you have to fingerprint. Separate, take it apart, put it away, or offer it to your friend, or as your friend, offer to take it for them. And have them have that thinking cooling down period where there's no access. We know the longer we separate from means to access in time of crisis will keep someone safe.
You teach a suicide prevention course. Tell me about that. How does that work?
So we have a class coming up September 3rd and the 4th, and we have another one 24th and 25th because we're always going to honor Suicide Prevention Month at Franciscan. And we teach applied suicide intervention skills training. It is for anyone interested in having this information. And we teach you how to recognize that someone is throwing out those signs. And then we teach you how to ask the question of suicide. And after you say, oh crap, in your head, then we teach you how to have that dialogue on where we're not problem solving. Because human nature is we want to fix people's problems. We're going to teach you how to listen for empathy, how to listen and care and hear what do they want to do. And then we work together to build out a safety plan that they are willing to engage in, because our goal is to keep them safe for now, to keep them out of our emergency rooms if possible, and to maybe, if nothing else, call 988 together and break that barrier of fear to utilize a resource later down the road.
All right, we're going to put all of your course information online. You can check that at WTHR.com. I love that. Just makes so much sense in the approach to someone you love and care about. It's not, tell me your problem and I'm going to fix it. It's really putting them in the driver's seat. It's letting them have control of the conversation and letting them explain what's going on.
Absolutely. You said the word control, right?
Yeah.
And so a lot of times when we're talking with people that are thinking about suicide, they have had so much loss of control in their life for things, or there's so much change that has happened. And humans don't like when we don't have control. And if we can't change it ourselves, we don't do well. And so we teach in that class, we're not trying to fix it, which takes away that control you mentioned. We're teaching to listen for empathy and how to give them some guided resources when they're ready for it.
All right, Tina Hoffman, thank you so much for being here, and thank you for everything you're doing.
Thank you for having me.
All right, and a reminder, if you or someone you know is struggling, have that conversation. The Suicide Prevention Hotline, once again, is 988. Tina, thanks for being here.
Thank you.